My name's Mike Brown.
Mike Brown. All right. And
Yes, sir.
and what state do you live in, Mike?
I live in Maryland.
Maryland. All right. Mike from Maryland.
Be a little more
Oh, you could be as specific. I mean, don't give anybody your home address. This is going to be on the internet, but
Oh no,
be as specific as you
no,
want or
no.
don't want to be.
Well, I'll give it a better way so people can understand because Maryland's broken into the eastern and western shore. I live on the eastern shore, so there's
Okay.
still a pretty good sized demographic that's trying to find me, and I don't think they want to find me.
Right. All right. Well, I guess jump right into your story, Mike, and let us know what your experiences have been.
All right. Well, weirdly enough, most of my stuff would probably be like a haunting type thing. That and just seeing weird stuff in the sky. But one thing that's always stayed prevalent with me, especially as being a child, and everyone says, yeah, you can see stuff in the dark. This is one of my youngest memories, and I remember climbing out of my crib, but mind you, I was probably a toddler back then. So I was still probably about almost 2 years old by then. I was already walking. Anyway, I went across from brother slept and my sister slept in the other room across the hallway. And I remember as I was coming up to the eave of the stairs and you could look down the stairs, there was a man coming upstairs. Well, at first I didn't think nothing of it because I just thought it was my dad. Well, as it got close, I noticed this thing was a lot taller than my dad. So I got scared and I scurried over into my sister's room and they were sleeping on the floor. And I remember climbing over my older sister and her, getting pissy about it or whatever. Whatever the thing was, when I got to the top of the stairs, it just kept walking, and you couldn't hear it anymore or nothing. And just curiosity, I went back out in the hallway, didn't see nothing else.
Mm.
And mind you, this is way back in the day. We grew up poor, so it's not like we left lights on at night because that burned electricity, and electricity costs money. I heard my dad say that a million times.
Right.
But hey, I have no explanation for that besides possibly shadow people or some kind of weird entity. I know my mom told us a story. She was in the house by herself one day cleaning, and out of nowhere, every single cabinet and drawer in the kitchen came flying open and stuff just flew out. She said, I just ran out of the house and started praying. And a lot of people would use that stuff, and they're like, oh, well, that's fake because you see one or two drawers flow open. She said every single thing flew open at the exact same time.
I am
The other
sorry, I don't want to cut you off or nothing. I just want to step in and say I'm quite often ridiculed for claiming that every one of those videos of a kitchen drawer or refrigerator door opening and closing by itself is fake, and 99% of them are fake because they're just using wires.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's different whenever
Oh,
you're
yeah. And it's only one thing.
right. It's different if you're in the kitchen and you experience and then go tell everybody this thing happened to me versus somebody trying to capture something on video and then pass it off as being legitimate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
The big difference there.
And I just, man, that place is weird. Every single person that lived there after us talked about how they could hear people talking. I know when I was little, we had a piano there, and just randomly at night, you would hear it playing. And I don't mean like mice running across it, ding, dong, 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 or something like that. No, like somebody was playing an effing song on that thing. When we moved out, we took the piano with us. Imagine this, it doesn't play at the new house. Um, so whatever it was is still there. The lady that moved in after us actually went and bought a pool table, cue sticks and everything. And she said at night it would smell like there was smoke in there, and you could hear people laughing, talking, and the pool table playing. But if you went in the room, sticks were on the table, all the balls were in a triangle. Now, to give some background to this house that we live in, it's old as crap, and it used to be like the hotel slash post office. I think at one point in time it was a brothel, because they used to build ships in Riverton. So way, way back in the day when slave trade and all that stuff was prevalent, like it was a prominent region. So they seen all kinds of stuff go through there. And a lot of the old guys told us around there, it could have just been, full of crap. But apparently they used to convict people and hang them right in that front yard too. And I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot going on there. You got a hotel, which implies people could have died there because they just couldn't have passing through. You got the possibility.
Right. And they're working right on the
yard,
steamships on the river.
Yeah, and the
Yeah, so you got to think like that.
brothels are just covered up in traumatic instances or situations and
Oh,
stuff.
God,
So
yeah.
it sounds like you get a recipe for disaster surrounding that house.
Now, yeah, and to mention it's in the middle of pretty much nowhere.
Yeah. Wow, man.
But,
Anything else you want to
so-
share?
Yeah, I'm going to share one that I was older. I was probably about 15 when this happened, 15, 16. I was outside with my dog. I like walking him at night. I did that for the longest time. When I got older, I ended up having a night shift job, and it was great. But anyway, I was outside walking my dog, and the hair down the back of his neck started standing up, and you could feel him growl, like a low rumble growl. And mind you, this dog is American Bull Terrier and, crap, what the heck was the other thing in him? It was both bully breeds, but he was a big boy. Like, there wasn't much that scared him. He literally broke any lead I ever put him on. He'd snap it. Anyway, so we were outside walking down the road, and I could tell that he was acting anxious and weird. And then out of nowhere, he just stopped. I'm like, come on, man, move. And I could hear out of the corner on my left side, because I'm partially deaf in my right ear, I could hear like chains beating down the ground, and it sounded like something was running down the road. And I looked over, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I could just see like 2 red dots bouncing up and down the road. Mind you, again, it's dark out. The moon wasn't even out that night. Only thing I could think, hellhound would be the most describable thing, because whenever this thing got up to us, like my dog literally pissed on itself, jumped out of his skin. I would let go of my dog and ran off like a coward. I ain't gonna lie.
Man, that's
But it disappeared. And I don't know what it was, but it looked like a gigantic fucking dog with red eyes. It had a chain around its neck that it was dragging, but when it got up to us, it was gone. But you could even smell it, right?
yeah.
And that was the weird part to me, is like, okay, it disappeared, but it had that dingy, shitty sulfur smell. Excuse my language, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
not like wet dog smell, or, you know, like if you ever popped a fox or some kind of wild animal, you smell its coat. No, this thing smelled like sulfur, like just nastiness. I don't know how else better to describe it, but it had like that shitty burnt smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just even thinking about it, man, it puts hairs up on back, because it's like, what the hell? What is this stuff? You know, where does it come from? Am I seeing this stuff? Like, am I making it up in my head, or like, you know?
Well, it's crazy
A
to
lot of
see
people, I don't-
something and then actually smell it after you've been
Yeah.
after you've determined that it's not physically there.
Yeah.
But there's still a
Yeah.
smell lingering. That's crazy.
Right, because, okay, so you got the 2 visuals, hearing something and seeing it. You can dismiss that, you know, wind or leaves blowing across the road at the same time, because it was dark out. I really couldn't see all that good,
Right.
and I can see pretty dang good in the dark. But mind that either way, for anybody's skepticism, to see it, you could hear it, but the smell part. And I've heard people talk about that, just like the lady telling us that she could smell smoke in there when they were playing pool. And it's creepy that certain things can leave an odor, and you know that that's probably entity, whatever you want to call it. It's probably pretty powerful if it's able to leave 3 centuries out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, man, thank you so
I
much
mean, I don't.
for sharing all that.
Mhm.
That's kind of crazy to we've heard of several stories today from different callers and stuff. Yours definitely stands out to me as unique. So I greatly appreciate you calling in and letting us know about it.
Hey, man, I appreciate what y'all doing. I feel like y'all sharing awareness to the obvious that this world is not what it should be. And,
That's
you
what-
know,
that's
why
what we're
not
trying
share
to
it to
do.
people? Because I'm sure someone out there feels like it, you know?
Oh yeah, and this is, I think this is some of the most intriguing stuff out there. You know, even if there are certain stories that are going to be easily explained away, or you know, maybe a situation where someone saw something and maybe they were under the influence or something like that, and it's kind of obvious, but there's still a lot to be gained from some of these experiences. So I feel like they're all worth listening to.
So I want to tell you something else too, and I'm sure people see lights in the sky, but we all can pretty much, if you pay attention to anything in the sky, you can tell what's a plane and what's not. And I used to think for the longest time I just saw in the sky, and I was crazy. And here lately, I've had friends over, and I'm like, "Hey, look up!" And they look up, and they're like, "What is that?" Like, call me crazy or not, but I know I've seen 2 moons before in the sky, and that was just really wild and crazy. And how do you explain that? Because nobody's going to believe you.
Right. Well, we're getting a lot of video footage now of two moons in the sky. I've been seeing it all over the place. So
Yeah.
The glitch theory.
Yeah, you've got something there to back up your story now. If somebody says you're making it up, tell them to get on TikTok and look it up for themselves. They can find videos all day long of it.
Well,
Yeah.
even better, the people that want to be blind, they still won't believe evidence, even if they see it right in front of them. No, you need to give me scientific background. Like, what the hell you mean? It's right there in physical form.